Okay, so let's have a look at this question here. And we were trying to get the x by itself. So let's put a little square around the thing. That's our goal. And we've got this that's immediately surrounding it. So we can think of that as our jumper, and then the jacket. So we've got the x is being multiplied by this QR, and then on the outside we've got the divide by t. We've got the opposite on this side. On this side we've got, this is the thing we're trying to get, and we've got the divide by t on the inside, and then here on the outside we've got the plussing of the QR. Okay, so let's deal with this. So here we've got divide by t, and the opposite of dividing by t is timesing by t. So if I do that to both sides, I'm going to get t p squared y equals qrx. Okay, so it's x I'm trying to get by itself, and it's being multiplied by qr. So the opposite of multiplying by qr is dividing by qr. And so I do that to both sides, and you'll see that this cancels with that, this cancels with that, and I've got x is equal to this, which is your final answer. On this side, the outer layer is the plussing of the QR. So let's get rid of that first. So p squared y minus QR equals x over t. Now the opposite of dividing by t is timesing by t. So let's, in our heads, times by t both sides. And so that this would cancel with that. And so I've got to show that all of this is being multiplied by t. So what I'm going to do is surround it with brackets and then put t here. So because the time symbol is confused with the x, and you can see that I'm showing that the whole of the left-hand side is equal to t, and that would be my final answer. And here what I've tried to show is that it really doesn't matter what's doing what. Here you've got x is multiplied by the triangle divided by the block. Here you've got x divided by the block, and then the triangle's added at the end. It's almost, well, it is identical to the previous question. So let's unwrap this. So it's x that I'm trying to get by themselves. We've got the timesing of the triangle, and then the dividing of the block. So working from the outside in, we've got the fluffy cloud, gives you that. And so now we need to, the final layer is the timesing of the triangle, so we need to divide by the triangle, both sides. And this disappears, and you're left with the fluffy cloud, okay? First was multiplied by the block, and then divided by the triangle. And on this side, we've got some different operations. So here, we're trying to get the x by itself, and on the inner layer is the dividing of the block, and then on the outer layer, the adding of the triangle. So let's take the triangle away, and it gives you x over the block. And so we need to get rid of this, so we times it. And so that cancels. But whatever you do to one side, you've got to do to the other. And I'm going to use a bracket to show that everything is being multiplied by the block. And I haven't used a time symbol. So let's have a look here. Trying to get x by itself is being divided by t squared, and on the outside the minus of the q. So I'm going to get rid of the outer layer first by adding. Opposite of minusing q is to add q. And then I'm going to do this one over here. So here we've got, this is the x that we want. Okay, on the inside we've got the minusing of the q, and then we've got the dividing of the t squared. So the outer layer here is the dividing of the t squared, so we need to multiply t squared. Notice that the squaring is happening to the t. It's wrapping the t, it's not wrapping the x. And it's only the x I'm trying to unwrap. Here we've got the dividing of the t squared, so we need to multiply by t squared. And here we've got minus q, so we need to take away q. Add q rather. Okay, so basically same operations, different order.